So this video is kind of a sequel, kinda, indirectly, to my previous video. So the subject of this video may overlap a bit, but I realize I have more to say, and I would like to say it, and that's why I'm making this video, and I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. The last few weeks have been pretty rough for me, motivation-wise, and emotionally wise. I'm not gonna go into any of that detail, because to be frank, it's not that interesting, and that's not why you're here. But I have this overwhelming sense of like feeling lost, and with that, I've gravitated towards albums that may physically replicate that sound in a way, if that makes any fucking sense. Back when I uploaded the Injury Reserve video, somebody in my comment section recommended to me A Quiet Farewell by Slauson Malone, and I really enjoyed it. Like, this is the type of music that I want to digest until I die. And although I enjoyed it back when I first listened to it, back in like June, I think, I don't fucking know. Coming back to it now, I enjoy it more because I feel like I'm feeling exactly what the artist is feeling, and it creates a sense of relatability. Now I know you're gonna say, this is nothing innovative, this is literally the point of music for the most part. But I think in the case of A Quiet Farewell, and there's a number of albums that probably replicate the same thing, they handle it differently. If, for example, I go listen to Sour by Olivia Rodrigo, the overwhelming theme of that album is, you know, teenage love, gone wrong, and heartbreak. And on this album, that emotion will be invoked via the lyrics and the writing. And then that'll be played over, you know, a pop production beat, whatever you want to call it. But for some artists, in an effort to try and show their emotion, which although may be real and it may be exactly what they're feeling, sometimes by forcing it into a song, if it's poorly written, it can feel very artificial. If I could give like a metaphor example, it's like if in a Marvel movie they keep telling us about how bad the villain is, but you never actually see it, you know? You're just kind of meant to take their word for it. If all you talk about in an album is just, oh, look at me, I'm so sad and miserable and depressed, and please feel bad for me, then that just kind of sucks. It's why I don't really like a lot of albums that go over mental health, or songs that even go over mental health, because it's such a touchy subject, and it's so easy to fuck up, to the point where some songs just, you know, feel fake, in order to gain relatability. Going back to A Quiet Farewell by Slauson Malone, the thing about this one is that I actually have no idea what this album's talking about. The songs are all like pages from a book, and they're all in the complete wrong order, and I also have no idea what any of them are actually talking about. But despite not understanding anything, I'm still able to, in a weird way, relate to it, and I still get something out of it.
No matter how hard I try, nothing seems to work. Words still turn, but I tried.
In the case of Slauson Malone, it's not through his lyricism that he's going to invoke an emotion. It's through his delivery and the structure of his songs. It's very easy to get lost when listening to this album, because the songs are all very short and they all just sound very different. For the most part, they don't last long enough to give themselves a structure and an identity. But despite how little the album actually says, I still feel like I understand it completely. And that's a feeling that I didn't have back when I first listened to the album. But now that I feel like I'm in that place and I'm in his position, my brain just naturally gravitates towards this album. And although I liked it at first, I like it even more now, because I feel like I actually understand what it's trying to say. And I think naturally these albums just have more replay value, because you'll just find yourself coming back to it and trying to understand it, and you'll always find new layers and new levels of appreciation for them. An album I really like is Care For Me by Saba, which is another album that I think tackles the subject of mental health in a pretty solid way. And although the album is very good, it's also very reliant on its storytelling. So after a few listens, and I feel like I have the full grasp on the story, I don't really want to go back to it that much, because I feel like I already understand everything there is to it. If anything, I just feel like over the last few weeks and months, I'm just understanding how important song structure is and how important writing is. I feel like these albums just have endless replay value, because you can just always come back to them, because they reach a point where they become therapeutic. And before anybody beats my ass and says that I'm kind of crazy and nobody actually thinks this way, I went on Rim, and quite literally the top comment just says everything that I've been trying to say in this video, and I find this very funny because I feel like this comment probably expressed it better than I did. And it's just so interesting that an album that is so messy and says so little can resonate with so many people and have an emotional attachment with them. Like, does anybody else just not find that crazy weird? Like, music is weird, man. Like, music is just such a stupid, weird little thing. But hey, I love it. I don't want to make it seem like this is like groundbreaking, innovative stuff that's gonna change the music industry, because it's not. Like, using sound to convey an emotion doesn't strictly apply to the emotional stuff like what Slauson Malone's doing. Like, I'm not listening to Death Grips for the lyricism, that's for fucking sure. But I do think that what Slauson Malone's doing here was very unique, and I'm very interested to see where he goes next with his music. And I know this video I've been talking about him a lot, he's been kind of like the focal point. That's just how I work in these videos, but you know, for the most part, I'm talking about the globality of artists that kind of do this type of shit. And this type of music will never go mainstream, and these artists will never get the support that I think they truly deserve. As I've already mentioned, this is a type of music that's really niche, and only a certain type of people would kind of like it, and that's me. I am those people. If Slauson Malone has 100 fans, I am one of them. If he only has one fan, I am that one fan. And if he has no fans, I am dead.
No matter how hard you try, nothing seemed to work. World still turned, and I tried and I tried it, but my